As you're hearing a lot tonight, IIE's ability to have people on the ground in the immediate aftermath of crises is a credit to the organization's vast network of corporate, government, and foundation partners, as well as its global team of regional and local experts who live in these nations and call them home. In my years going all around the globe as a foreign correspondent for NBC News, I really saw firsthand just how difficult it is to get access to areas that are cut off by famine and earthquake and political unrest and violence. And often I could see aid agencies were really stuck on the outer edges of these crises and unable to get in. But truly, time and again, IIE has overcome these obstacles year after year after year, and is able to get in to scholars, to students, to artists who are all caught in these perilous circumstances and give them a lifeline. As you've heard, one of IIE's longest serving signature initiatives that responds to emergencies is the Scholar Rescue Fund. This global program arranges and funds and supports fellowships for threatened and displaced scholars with partnering institutions. And in addition, as you're going to keep hearing tonight, IIE does have a long history of working specifically with women and girls to provide them with the skills that they need to thrive in their local situations. So now, would you help me welcome the head of IIE Sub-Saharan Africa, Ethiopia, Tilahun. She has played a pivotal role in developing and implementing IIE's work, focused on women and girls. Please also welcome a distinguished academic supported by the Scholar Rescue Fund, Dr. Rana Mustafa. And if you'll indulge me, I'm just going to start with Ethiopia and ask her a few questions, and then switch to Dr. Mustafa, ask her a few questions, and then pivot a little bit back and forth. Can you tell me a little bit more about your role in the day-to-day as the director?
Yeah, thank you very much, Linda. My name is Dr. Tilahun, as she mentioned. I'm the head of the IIE Sub-Saharan Africa and Ethiopia, and I'm supervising and overseeing the strategic direction of IIE Sub-Saharan Africa, and also manage the data activity, supervising the scholarship programs, leadership development programs, women and girls programming, and higher education services.
So how do how does your team find its way into, these areas that are hard to reach, or that may be troubled to reach, to get access to people who need our help?
We are deeply embedded in the community that we are serving, and we have a connection with students, teachers, schools, universities in the community. So the program that we have, identifying those girls from the community and the schools, the universities, the connection we already have really helped us to identify the right candidate and the right participants, because we always use an application and recruitment process and outreach. We usually do an outreach in person, whether it's in a conflict area, in crisis area, so that we can tap into the information that we have and identify the right candidate who really needs our support and intervention. So that's how we identify those candidates and participants.
Can you talk for a minute, just really candidly, about some of the unique struggles that girls and women face in the region?
Yeah, let me share some of one of actually the stories that we have. Semenya is a young girl. We identified her in her school. She was 11th grade in 2013. She was in dilemma of dropping out from school because of the situation that her families are in, because of the poor economic background. She couldn't be able to focus on her education. She has a lot to do in her home. So when we announced the program, she was one of the few students who applied for the program in the next day. And she believed that that program will support her and to complete her education and also a pass to a university. So she applied for the program with the holistic approach that we have that embrace collaboration with mentors, teachers, parents, and the whole community. We supported her to work hard in her school, and she was one of the top scorer after completing her education, and she was one of the top scorer, and she gets in the university, medical university. As long as she remembered, she was dreamed of to become a doctor. So she applied for a medical school college in Ethiopia, and she succeeded to join that university. And last year, after 7 years of working in her education, she graduated with honors. Mm-hmm. And she became an inspiration to all of our girls. She came back to our programs and inspire other girls in the community, in the schools. She's not only a doctor now, but she's also an inspiration to other girls who really needs her support, and she mentored other girls in her area. So that's one of the stories so I really want to share. And this is an amazing and an extraordinary achievement that this girl achieved. And there are lots of women and girls in Africa, in Ethiopia, who really needs this kind of support to thrive and achieve and fulfill their dreams. So thank you very much for the support.
In a minute, if you don't mind, I'd like to come back to the importance of hope, something you and I were talking about before, that the difference that you see in the eyes. But I'd like to turn to Dr. Mustafa for a second. So if you don't mind, just tell everybody a little bit more about what happened, your lab being destroyed in Syria. You were a distinguished academic, but then both your lab was destroyed and then your home was practically destroyed.
Yeah, so I was a faculty member. I was teaching at the Faculty of Food Engineering. I had my PhD from France, and both my college and my home were destroyed. So research was impossible. Teaching was challenging, extremely challenging. The whole situation not only threatened our life, our safety, but disturbed the education system. And I heard from students, and I noticed from my interaction with them, they needed more support, more mentorship versus only teaching. And after a few years of the war, I personally was drained after everything happened into my life. So their need was something that I was unable to meet. And at a certain point, I felt that there is nothing that I can do while I am there. And at that point, I decided to find somewhere else in the world where I can find support and continue my career and life, because it broke my heart to spend years of studies while other people are partying and be at certain point where you are unable to do your job. Students around you wanted your help, but you cannot do it. So I thought the only solution is for me to leave Syria.
If I may, just fill in a little bit. It was even more than that, because your colleagues were being killed. And at checkpoints, you could have been seized at any moment.
So the systematic violence was extremely intense. It was unbelievable. The fact that we as university professors, we are asked to go to work, even though the situation is unsafe at all, but we need to go. And you go, you stop at those checking points, and you wait, and you show your ID, and you can't do anything other than pray that the person who's seeing your ID is going to let you go. If you take the bus, you just pray that this bus will not explode, and that's it. So living into the war for 5 years, it just was impossible for anyone to handle, to continue. Like, there are so many stories. Losing, like, someone I'm supposed to go and share the class with, teaching together, and you show up, you teach the class, you teach your part, and the other person, the other professor didn't show up. And when you ask later what happened, you just discover that your colleague was just killed in the morning. My students are missing in the class, and when I ask about them, they are just killed. So at a certain point, as a human being, you cannot show up and say, I'm going to give a lecture. I'm unable to do it. Mm-hmm. Physically, emotionally, like, it's impossible. And of course, there are so many complications around, like electricity, water, basic need. We did not have it to continue our life and our career.
What would you say to everyone here about the importance of rescuing scholars?
I said before that there is no word can express my gratitude for this opportunity. I mentioned that after years of studying a master's, PhD, and being a university professor, doing research, it's hard to leave Syria and be a refugee. And at that time, we heard, like, the whole world was overwhelmed by refugees. And the stories is, you go, you sit in a camp, and you do nothing. I did not want that. I preferred that either at the time, I will die with others, or I will go do something so I can help them. And I spent 3 years searching, couldn't find a place where I can go and continue my career. And I found the Institute of International Education. And the moment I was accepted, I felt that life will be different. And I felt that I've given, like, I have new opportunity in life, so many doors opened. And then until I continued, of course, I had the support of the University of Saskatchewan. I should say that they welcomed me with the support of Institute of International Education. I was able to not only continue my career, but I was able to achieve that dream that so many people are unable to live in Syria. I was able to help them. And that in every single day, wherever I am able to, I am thankful for everyone who contributes, who works with the IIE, because the door of opportunities was amazing for me. And until now, I have that collaboration, I have the connection. And I should say that lately I am engaged in a program where I will be supporting 5 Scholar Rescue Fund scientists, women following their fellowship in Canada. So I am moving from that role of receiver as a giver. And I am very grateful.